Hello, hello. It is Damien, aka Sleepy Reader. I'm gonna do it just a simple haul this time around. I got some AOKs in the mail. I picked up a few other things. I thought I'd just do a little show and tell and thank the people who gave me those AOKs. Not an AOK, but I did get a blind bag Batman #1 polybagged, blind as a bat polybag special edition. Got it from John Castle Spiliotopoulos at his comic book shop in Florida. Past, present, future comics, something like that. I have to look up the name. So I thought I'd open. Let's see. I don't know if there's a special way to open them. I just cut it open with scissors. Um, I guess if I were a real collector, I just never open it up, right? Oh, it doesn't want to open easily. Oh, it's shiny. I'm gonna get fingerprints on it. There we go. Yeah, man, it would be easy to get fingerprints on this. Uh, It looks like a Quietly, Frank Quietly cover, variant cover by Frank Quietly. Looks like it's variant cover number 6, or is it the 6th printing? So, and then it has the regular cover underneath. So then I also got in the mail a package from Donald Rex. It included a graphic novel with this little note on his own stationery, his own patriotic stationery here. Hi, Damien. Hope you enjoy this, Donald. Support our troops. Remember our veterans. So I don't know if Donald is a veteran himself. I haven't heard him mention that, but he might be, or he's wants to be sure to support our troops. What he sent me was Black Cat Crossing Stories by Richard Sala. This is a volume that was put out by Kitchen Sink back in 1991. And Richard Sala is kind of this unique comic book creator who, I guess, these stories were appeared in Blab and Drawn and Quarterly. And I think he's appeared in various of those kind of very alternative places. And he has this kind of unique, quirky style that it's hard to really place, but he sometimes reminds me a little bit of Edward Gorey. And a lot of his stories, at least the few that I've read actually, and that's one reason why I think Donald sent me this, because I was asking him where some good place to start with Richard Sala might be. The few Richard Salas I've read seem to be spoofs of different types of pulp stories, but kind of elevated by his quirkiness into something more artistic, perhaps. Um, so anyway, I look forward to delving into this, and I love the idea of a lot of short stories and some pulpy fun. And then the sort of the main course of this video is the huge AOK that was sent to me by David, aka Garage Geek, down in LA. He sent me a big box full of books and comics. Maybe I'll start with the books. He sent me a bunch of paperbacks. He sent me a signed copy of Time to Murder and Create by Lawrence Block, because at some point he was saying how great Lawrence Block was, and I said I hadn't read anything by him. So there we go with that. This is an autographed copy. Let's see. His signature is right there. Um, and he sent me some Daw books. There's been some discussion about the publisher Daw and people doing a series of videos called "Show Me Your Daws," and I knew that David was collecting a lot of Daws, so I pointed out that to him, and he did do his own "Show Me Your Daws" video, or I'll show you my Daws video. Let's see, there's some other Daw in here. He sent me Daw book #1. So one of the fun things for people to collect Daw is that each one is numbered. So this is the very first book that the publisher Daw ever published, Spell of the Witch World by Andre Norton. Daw, by the way, stands for Donald A. Walheim. Prior to that, he was an editor at Ace Books. I think he was in charge of the Ace Doubles, and he left and formed his own company um, to, I guess, follow his own taste. So here's some other Daw. There's something called The City Machine by Louis Trumbull. It's Daw book number 24. Another reason why collectors like collecting them is they love the art on the covers of Daw books. Here's Daw book number 98, Robert Chilson's As the Curtain Falls. I mostly collect, when I collect vintage paperbacks, collect things from the 60s and possibly 50s if I can find them. And those are not Daws. Daws were started in the 70s, so I don't have a lot of Daws in my collection. Let's see. He didn't stop there. He sent me The Land Leviathan by Michael Moorcock. Um, I don't know if this relates to some of his Eternal Hero books, with Elric and the like. I'm not sure. I guess there's another book, Warlord of the Air. Looks like there's several books in this series. I won't be able to get that sticker off, but that's very cool. I never really know anything about that particular Moorcock book. The Great Divorce by C.S. Lewis. I think this is another one that he discussed in one of his videos, and I must have left a comment about it. This was a long time ago, and he remembered it, decided to give me a copy. Um, let's see, what does it say? A timeless novel about a bus ride from hell to heaven. Yeah, C.S. Lewis, often is doing metaphor for religious issues, and here's one. I've already flipped through this a lot. Never flirt with puppy killers and other better book titles. So this is kind of famous books with titles that are supposed to be funny and supposed to be a better description of what happens in the book. So, like Virginia Woolf's Mrs. Dalloway is retitled "A Quaint Mid-Afternoon Panic Attack." And it says the novel that inspired Xanax. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is retitled "A Zombie Learns French." Um, and the Epic of Gilgamesh is renamed "The Epic for People Who Don't Like Epic Length Epics." There's a whole thing about what is the real definition of epic. Um, oh, Dante's Divine Comedy, The Inferno, is retitled "Satan is a Huge Asshole," literally. Do they go down in the sphincter of Satan in there? I can't remember. Anyway, uh, poems by Emily Dickinson. I'm Nobody, Who Are You? Poems by Emily Dickinson. He was reading Emily Dickinson poetry, was he, in one of his videos, and I complimented on it or something. So I think all of these are a result of some comment I made on some video of his. And A Planet Called Treason by Orson Scott Card. Actually, I don't think I've ever commented on this. I don't remember ever hearing about this Orson Scott Card novel. I did like the Ender novels. I haven't been driven to read all of Orson Scott Card, but it'll be interesting to see why Garage Geek is recommending that one. And then a graphic novel, Flung Out into Space, inspired by the indecent adventures of Patricia Highsmith. Patricia Highsmith being the well-known author of crime novels, such as The Talented Mr. Ripley and Strangers on a Train. So a lot of her stuff was made into movies, but early in her career, she wrote comic books. So I wonder if that ties into this. Uh, we'll have to see. And she was also a lesbian back when that was not an easy thing to be. And then another nice hardback, Forbidden Worlds, Exploring the Supernatural. These are ACG comics that are being reprinted here. The first 5 issues of Forbidden Worlds. I think I might have some later issues already. I don't know if there was a particular reason that David sent me this one, but probably he had an extra copy or something. But he didn't stop there. He sent me The Fly. This is Fly number 4. And I'm eagerly collecting The Fly. This one has an almost Kirby-like look to it. I don't think it is Kirby, but maybe it's Dick Ayers or someone on the cover there. And this is The Fly number. I can't see a title on it. I can't see a number on it. I'd have to open it up. Oh, it says on the back, number 7. This doesn't even show The Fly on the cover. but that's a cool cover. And this is the fly number 5. Now you're at my mercy. How will the fly escape the fly paper, I guess. So that's a series I'm trying to complete. So thanks to David, he helped me get a little further along on that. I have not previously collected this series, but I've always wanted to. The Invaders. I think he texted me and asked me if I had them, and I said no. Um, so they always have cool covers. I think a lot of times on the inside, it's art by Frank Robbins, was it? Whose superhero artwork is a bit odd. Yeah, written by Roy Thomas, Frank Robbins, and Frank Springer, illustrators. We got Hitler right on the splash page there, banging against Captain America's shield. Um, oh, it looks like there's some reprint comics at the back too of Submariner. So that's number 21. Number 22, cool original Human Torch and Toro cover with the asbestos lady. Her health may not have been so good later on if she survived World War II. Let's see, probably more Frank Robbins. Uh, Jim Mooney and Frank Springer. Oh, I like Jim Mooney. That's cool. Um, it looks like kind of sloppier Jim Mooney, but anyway. So Defenders number 20, Invaders number 22, Invaders 26. That very much has a kind of golden age. For those who don't know, the Invaders are a reboot. No, what's the right word? Roy Thomas sort of imagined what the superheroes were up to in World War II, in ways that didn't actually get printed in the old Golden Age comics, but that he would have liked to. So it all takes place during World War II. So that's 26. Number 30. Oh, with a Joe Sinnott cover. There's the signature right there, Joe Sinnott. I thought it was John Buscema. So Joe Sinnott does a fairly good John Buscema imitation here. Of course, he's inked John Buscema many times. So that's a really cool cover. 5 Against the Flying Death. And number 34 with what's the name of this villain? Is it the Union Jack? No, the Mighty Destroyer Strikes Back. And we got, there's the Union Jack, Spitfire, floating heads of the main invaders there, Human Torch, uh, Human Torch, Submariner, and Captain America. This looks like a Frank Springer, or not a Frank Springer, a Frank Robbins cover. It won't say who the cover is, but let me see who's on the inside. I'm just always into seeing who does what. Alan Kuperberg and Frank Springer are the artists on the inside. Don Glut, guest writer. I'm not a big Don Glut fan, sorry. But most of these are from Roy Thomas, who I am a fan of. Oh, and then we got the classic The Whizzer from Invaders number 35. Stop the Whizzer. Only he knows the most important secret of World War II. And of course, I can always get a chuckle by mentioning the Whizzer to my daughter and pointing out his nice yellow outfit. And wait till you see what it is. And number 36. I can't tell. This almost looks to me like a cover by Frank Robbins again, but with some more heavy-handed Marvel style inker going over his work, so it doesn't look quite so Frank Robbinsy. Look inside. Alan Kuperberg and Chick Stone. Chick Stone is one of my favorite inkers on the old Marvel stuff, so that should be good. And who's writing? Roy Thomas back to being the writer. And we've got Invaders 138 with the lovely but lethal Lady Lotus and the revengeful return of U-Man, Nazi from Atlantis. Classic kind of cover with the villains looming above the heroes. And number 39, there's more U-Man, the Nazi from Atlantis. Um, That's just a funny concept. And number 40 with Baron Blood, the vampire, Nazi vampire, I believe. Um, those Nazis, they just keep on giving with villains. Um, and number 41, all new double-sized dynamite, the greatest superheroes. I think Metarog told me this was the last issue of the Invaders series. And that's a nice classic cover with a big fight scene. I don't see a signature from the artist. I might look that up. Okay, so I think that's everything from the oh so generous Garage Geek. I thought I'd show a few things that I've also received or picked up. I Before visiting my mom, who for most of September I spent with my mom in the hospital, um, I did spend like 2 hours at the Rose City Comic Con before flying out of town to visit my mom. And I wandered around Artist Alley with my buddy Tat Comics, and we stopped and talked to a bunch of artists. And I bought sketchbooks from a number of them, uh, including Ron Randall, this very thin sketchbook. I guess I'll flip the camera around and do a flip book through here. So this it is signed to me, and I had to contribute to get it signed. I had to contribute some money to one of those charities for comic book artists. I forgot what it was called. And Ron Randall's a very nice guy. Always enjoy. I've talked to him at many a Rose City Comic Con. Um, so this is a good but kind of thin little sampling of some of his recent art. And then I got to chat with Liam Sharp, who is a really cool artist and is in particular doing some really cool Conan stuff. He has more. He did some stuff in Savage Sword of Conan, and he has more coming up. And this is his treasury for 2025. Um, and uh, it was really fun talking with him. He was quite cool and quite excited, I think, about his art. Very positive and excited to be doing Conan, to be writing and drawing. Um, I guess I'll also flip the camera around to do this. The only flaw was that I got overcharged for this by his assistant at the table. You just hand them your credit card and they swipe it over their phone. And I came home later and found that I'd been charged quite a bit more than I expected to for this volume. I do wish it was in hardback because it is beautiful. So many beautiful pages, black and white and color work. And I think some of them are covers and splash pages, and others are just other ephemera that he's done during 2025. Um, so very cool. I'm really looking forward to more Conan work by him, and I probably should dig up uh, more of his other work. I have read his Wonder Woman and some of his work on Green Lantern with Grant Morrison. Kind of fell off of that. Um, but anyway, a really cool artist, Liam Sharp. And then in the mail, I got another one of these heritage comic art catalogs. This is for an auction that is the entire collection of one collector named Keith Fromm. And I couldn't find out much about him on the internet. And they talked about what a cool guy, or, there was a note from his sister talking about what a passionate collector he was, but there wasn't more background on him. And I was just sort of curious how someone ended up with such an incredible collection. Um, I suppose the jewel in the crown is this Todd McFarlane Batman cover, because so far, last I looked, it's on Heritage, it was going for more than $600,000, and there's still 2 weeks left in the bidding. Um, but everything he's got here, uh, amazing Golden Age stuff, Silver Age stuff, relatively modern work. Um, Quite the collection this one guy had, and sad. I guess he was born in 1970 and he passed away last year, so that's kind of far too young. Um, but interesting phenomenon um, when you're have interesting kind of thing when you have one big connect collection from one collector, and to see that is kind of fascinating to me. And last but not least, I finally got a hold of the hardback book that is The Art of George Wilson, who was predominantly known to me as an artist who did painted covers for Gold Key magazines and for Dell. And he did other stuff too. It's clear he did work on westerns and romance novels and a variety of other things too. Um, but it's just amazing the quality and the prolificness of this painter. You would assume paintings take weeks to paint, but he must have been doing them every few days or something. So anyway, this is a really cool book. Um, so that's my haul for today. I hope to, in coming weeks, get back into the groove, do my regular coverage of new comic books again, and share more of my comic books on comic book art, and maybe talk about back issues too, or at least do that on Metarog's channel. So talk to you all soon. Bye bye.